Okay. This is the comes to order of Local Works November 26th, 2013. Right here, I propose to adopt this week's agenda.
Second.
Okay. And we can approve some minutes. They sent out the last minutes for the last 3 weeks. About a half an hour ago.
40 minutes ago.
So they are abbreviated.
I printed out one set.
Thank you. I think maybe Denise, just quickly yours and see if I presented it accurately.
Do you remember which one that was?
That was the middle one, which is the True Wealth.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the 22nd, was it? October 22nd, November 19th, and November 12th.
Do we have to do them individually?
I think we could do them all together.
Is that kosher?
It's very kosher.
Yep. As long as there's nothing, if they're all, the motions to accept them all, then we can accept them all.
I move that we accept the local works minutes from October 22nd, November 12th, and November 19th.
Are you comfortable with it, Denise?
Yes, I second.
Oh, opposed? None. Great. So, I don't have the agenda.
Public speak.
Public speak? Yes, actually, I will public speak. I just sent an email to the EDSE alerting them that I am putting my hat in the ring for their leadership.
Okay.
Okay. And I had a very nice conversation with the mayor yesterday, yesterday, about the EDSE, and I'm actually quite excited. And one of my agendae will be to bring this back into the fold of the EDSE.
Great.
Because I think it would make sense.
Okay. Awesome.
There's no major point on that, but we are a part of their fold.
We are. I mean,
We're a subcommittee of it.
bring disband this as a subcommittee and have local works be part of the agenda of the EDSE. Okay.
Do you want to take minutes if you're going to be
That's okay. This is just a little bit. Should we talk about the survey now?
Sure. I mean, I think that's really the only
I think it's the only thing to talk about.
that's
This is your...
discussion at this point. So this is just, it's
Is this different than the one you emailed last week?
Yes, it is. It has another few hours of work put into it. Yeah, but let me not just put that into that recycle just because it's...
So this middle one is... I'm not sure which one you just sent today.
I didn't send anything out today.
No, the other day.
That
Yeah,
was the online.
And that was akin to what we had last week.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So the one that I sent out last week was slightly, I'd made a few of the changes that we had done at last week's meeting.
Right, and this
And this
one-
week's a little bit further. I didn't change a lot.
I had a note.
You want it to be Greater Easthampton.
Yeah, formal name. But I had a note on my notes. Doesn't make any sense. From our last meeting that we were going to recognize previous, did we decide?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I put that in the acknowledgements section.
Oh, geez, right up at the top. I'm sorry. I was looking for more of a... Thank you.
You guys were fine with the language.
Yeah.
And you decided not to acknowledge James because it was too long ago?
I looked back at the minutes and he resigned like right before the survey really ramped up.
But was the survey's idea? Or no?
No.
I mean,
I think the survey came...
I think it was yours or Stuart's idea.
Stuart was gone at that point.
But I mean, the initial idea to get it going.
Yeah.
I think it was actually...
Well, I think it was actually we started as like a survey as a response to the forum that was held at Flywheel, and we sent out some responses. We sent out some a quick thing. We got like 5 responses or something like that. And then we decided that really wasn't enough, and then we needed like the baseline study, and we talked about that. Like there was a lot of like, well, what are we gonna do? And then Jim resigned, and then I think and then I think we picked up the, at least that's what I went through the minutes. That's the way it sort of read to me.
Okay.
If
Are we worried about offending anyone?
I mean, I could.
That's why I brought it up.
Yes.
He was, a very strong leader for quite a while, and
Right.
he did have any part of this. But I don't remember time-wise if he did.
I mean, I could give him a call and see if he remembers that he was around when we started the survey.
Just ask him if he would like to be acknowledged.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any problem with that.
I don't have any, problem putting him in there, not even knowing whether or not, because I think he was
Yeah,
a
I don't
big part of
either,
the
actually.
group, and,
No, I have no problem.
You put it that
Okay.
way, I don't either.
And I'd rather err on the side of
Yes.
thanking him for work that he helped start.
That's true, yeah.
Than not offending, than offending him for, or making him feel like we don't appreciate what he did and where we got to because of his leadership. So,
You're right, he wasn't a
Well,
good part of this, so.
yeah.
I mean, I think maybe in light of that, maybe I would put it in anyway without even checking.
Okay, so let's go. Special thanks to Marion
And I just looked at the front page again.
and James.
Cover page.
Sorry at this.
Yes, he likes James. Should we have? No, wait, Jamie gets that one.
Okay.
In the draft, you have local works up at the top here, on the cover.
Yep.
I think we should also have local works, and I don't see it in the say, yeah, no, the logo's down below here, which is good. But don't you think we should have local works at the top? That's my drift.
At the top of the
If
survey,
the
yeah,
committee wants that in the title, I can put it in.
I think we should.
It seemed a little redundant to me to have the logo and the title in the title, but I'm happy to put it in.
I think this shows all our partners,
Yeah.
but we really are local works. So right now, it looks like just local works is one of the group of partners.
Yeah.
The partners really make up local. I could almost say you could just put the local works logo up here and not have it down here.
Yeah.
It's almost more, it makes more sense not to have the local works logo with the other partners' logos.
You guys want to see it that way?
Well, it is a product of this committee, that's my
It is
only.
misleading, it is misleading. It looks like we're one of the partners and we're not, we're the overseeing organization.
So is it more helpful to state it and have all the logos below, or is it more helpful to have a logo at the top and then 4 random logos below it? I don't know that it...
I think it's more helpful to have local works at the top, whether it's the logo or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not have the local works logo at the bottom. Because I don't think these are random logos. These are,
No, but what I meant was if we had one logo at the top and 4 at the bottom, then it looks like random logos.
okay.
So just print it out, local works.
Yeah.
Just have, print out local works. We have our local works logo everywhere. You know, if you want, we could put the local works watermark on the top of each page or something like that.
Or underneath the mission statement.
Yes, good idea.
The watermark, yeah.
Yeah, so let's, on the front, let's put the local works at the top. The words local works.
So it's going to say local works
Presents,
and
local works.
Well, because it's the local works.
On our stage.
Just gonna make sure.
Humbly offers.
And,
or it's part of like near the date at the bottom.
no,
Easthampton Present Service results analysis logos and then date and then present by the
I think they'll get too good. I think have the words local works up here.
Yep.
And then move the logo from here to there.
Okay.
and should we have our website spelled out anywhere?
Yes. At the bottom of the cover page. Good, no, good idea.
I think we should have a logo one.
It's right on lane.
Dude, you're here. I thought you were coming.
Kathy said she couldn't make it, she called me. I'm actually going to have to leave early too, so I apologize for all the disruptions.
Worry not, young one. Worry not, young grasshopper.
So, what was that?
So we decided to put Local Works at the top here.
Oh, good.
Take the Local Works logo out and have this just be our partners.
Nice.
Put the URL on the bottom. Are you going to do that one, Jamie?
Where do you want the URL?
On the bottom here?
On the cover?
Yeah. And then we could put our logo at the bottom of the acknowledgement station.
Can we go to localworkseasthampton.org?
Yes. And the other thing that we decided before you got here is we went back and forth about James Jarvis in terms of his participation. And even though he may not have necessarily been here for the actual production of it, we thought because he was such an integral part of the group from the beginning.
Spiritual founder of the
Yeah,
group.
exactly. So we're going to thank him as well.
That's a good way of putting it.
Spiritual founder, there you go.
Special thanks to our spiritual founder. Prayer sessions at.
Okay.
Do you have an extra one of these for?
I did not.
I'll share.
Is it the same? Or did you
No,
not?
no, this is,
Oh,
Pretty updated. I like it. It's good.
maybe not end of these pages yet.
The other thing I shared is that I had formally tossed my hat in for
good.
EDIC chair.
Any competition?
I don't think so. No, I can't see there being any.
It's pretty small print on the graphs, isn't
I
it?
know.
Yeah.
So, those graphs are exports from SurveyMonkey. I had issues with trying to get them to fit.
Are they come across as graphic images?
They come in as PNGs.
Okay.
And the formatting, I wanted to see them go across, but they don't format well when it goes across. So I'm going to still continue to play with it, but in the meantime, these are kind of like placeholders until I can figure out a better way to do it. What I wanted was feedback as to whether or not you actually think it's
Well, I think they're
good to
They're very
include the graphs like that with all that data next to each of those things, so then we have a little bit of text that explains what the data is, and then the graph next to it if people want to look.
I could go back and forth. I mean, because I've always said that if people want more information, we'll make it readily available to them, and that we want them to be able to look at this and not think, oh man, there's so much stuff that I'll look at later, and then never look at it.
Those graphs are nice to look at.
They are.
Why can't they just be larger on their own page, like an appendix with all the graphs, just so you can see? It's really almost impossible to read that.
Yep.
Well, good as an appendix.
I
yeah,
mean,
just at the
I
end.
think it makes the most sense when the graphs are next to
the text.
the text that's describing
Right.
it. I really, personally, I hate flipping to an appendix. That makes me just,
Yeah, I agree.
Well, then just make them larger and put the
yeah,
text
I mean, and
above.
so that's an option too, I can make them larger, and then, basically each question will be a page that has a graph and a little bit of text next to it.
Here's the other
That'd be
thing.
nice.
Do we have access to someone who's a real Excel whiz who can just take these numbers and plug them in and make our own graphs?
I mean, I can do it. I mean, that is the option if I don't,
I think spending a lot of time fiddling around with the downloaded ones,
yeah.
if you can export data, then plug it into an Excel graph.
The promise of these data, I haven't quite, I mean, I have the all of the data from SurveyMonkey, and these ones specifically, I haven't quite figured out how to get them to easily make nice charts,
Okay.
just because of the way the data comes in.
It's a lot of work. I think these are
I mean,
fine.
I don't know that it's a lot of work. I have to figure it out. Once I figure it out, it's just a matter of repeating it for each question,
Okay.
because it's the same. It's really about adding up all, because it puts like, you know, here's survey respondent 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's like, is there enough? Too many? Not enough? And like, so if 6 columns, there's only a response for 1. It gets, I mean, without going into more detail, it's just,
So is that something you want to try to do?
I think so, because I don't think that these charts work,
Okay.
Right.
but it was what I was working on, and I wanted to sort of give you an idea of where I'm going with this.
Okay. I think you're right, it is nice to have the charts next to the data.
But it is right next to the, even if it was just twice the size of one of these and it was bigger.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to reinvent the wheel, because these are nice, these SurveyMonkey charts.
Is this what you guys had in mind for the logo? Sorry, let me just, on the acknowledgements page, something like this.
Could, I was actually thinking center on the bottom, but,
Putting it here,
Sort of below the mission
Yeah.
statement.
because
Right.
there was room.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let's proceed to look at the so the executive, the purpose and executive summary.
Did not change since last time,
Great, okay.
or since
Other
the
than
changes
those.
that.
Oh, the change we made during the meeting, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Big ideas? Oh, I see what you did, it looks good. Instead of having it be 6 different ideas, it was the 4 with the bullets.
Yeah, I haven't, yeah, and so obviously my notes are still in here, I have to.
Right. So these things would come out.
So we're gonna, what are the 3 to 5?
That's a note to myself. Those are like basically what we're trying to get out of it.
I would say if this sentence is going to stay here, we could take out the 3 to 5. Say, what are the major trends for the Easthampton local preference?
Yeah,
For that to note to yourself? as well?
I think it's going to be rephrased as a statement rather than
Okay.
a question, and it'll be another sentence or two, and then
Okay.
into the paragraph.
Okay.
I know the title of that page will probably change from big ideas to executive.
Major findings?
Yeah, I mean, so we have the purpose and executive summary already.
Yeah.
Major findings, sounds good.
And we have the key findings section already in the executive summary. So it might just be like,
Here's the scoop.
I mean, maybe it's really this. It's a second page of the executive summary.
That makes sense, too. Yeah.
Or they'll separate purpose from executive summary and then combine that.
If you do that, you'll move to request a copy, you move that to the end?
Yes.
I like that. Have it become a continuation of the executive summary.
Right, I mean, because some of those actually are in there. Like the third bullet under key findings. It's similar to the first bullet under big ideas. You know, I think this was that, I think I sent out something with big ideas, and then I think Denise took some of those and wrote in,
Put it into the
and put it into the summary, so that this might actually, the big ideas section might actually just be duplicative at this point.
We could
So let's-
format the same if you wanted to.
Let's just figure out if it's
Some is and some isn't, right?
Yeah, no, it is the same.
Do we have a larger plan
first-
as to when this is?
The first bullet
released,
in the last one here.
No, I'm just thinking that
All three of us.
all this editing can occur. I don't know that I want to, I mean, I think you're doing a good job, Jamie, and I gotta go soon, so I just wondered if there's any other final
Yeah, before you go,
plan,
talk
like a
about,
final plan of timeline for what needs to be done, or should we wait till after the holidays to regroup once more?
I think we're gonna have to regroup once more.
Nice if it doesn't have to be
I don't know where, and we can check in, you know, we don't have to go through this line by line, you know.
Right.
I just really wanted to give you guys an update.
Mhm.
You and Eric were doing the comments sections.
I mean, we've got that pretty much done as far as the figures, but depending on what we're going to say.
Okay.
So if you want to
Comments
send
gonna be on the
me
comments.
something, or if you guys want to work with me
I have to
today,
work with you and talk to you about it.
then we can
Yeah.
do that today, and then I can, you know, take that, integrate it into here, and send that back out
Mhm.
with my changes, and then we'd probably still need one more meeting to look at everything, finalize it, make sure that we're all good with everything, and then,
can we do that before Christmas?
Yes, let's do that. You know, so get
That's what I meant,
finished.
not after this holiday, not after Christmas holiday.
Just keep-
But
Yeah, like next week, kind of thing.
that's the soul of my show, you can keep
He
kicking that
wants
all
them
day.
to.
Yeah.
Boy.
So,
Normally, under normal circumstances, our next meeting would be December 10th. And there is a EDIC meeting here at 4 o'clock on December 10th. So if we think we could do it in an hour, we could meet at 3 o'clock.
can I suggest that we meet at 3 on the 10th and stay till 5 through the EDIC meeting, so that way we can present where we're at to them, and that will count as our, here's where we are.
I like the way this person
And
thinks.
then, you know, we won't, if it is a final document at that point, great, and if it's like 90% or 80%,
Good.
that we've given it to them, and we can check them off as having been updated as to where the local works survey is at.
Good. Good. Good idea.
All right.
You don't want us to take up the whole meeting.
No, I will just...
4:20 kind of thing.
Actually, can you add it to the EDIC agenda?
It's probably already on the agenda.
Can you add us to the top of it, so we're not the last thing on the agenda?
That's true.
I can do it, but it might get moved by the chair.
Actually, you know what? When we start the meeting, I'll make a motion to put that at the top.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. So,
Stay later.
But I mean, our meeting will still only go to 4. It would just be that we can
Yeah.
present.
Cool.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to duck out, and I thank you all. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.
You too.
have a good holiday.
These, the graphs in the back, those are the ones that you've already exported the information and made yourself, right?
Right, and they're like much more clear,
Yeah.
easy to read.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I wanted to do, was get something like that for,
The difference is obvious.
Yeah. If there's any way, you know, I hate doing charts in Excel.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at it. But like taking, having those be horizontal, even if it were 3 horizontal charts, for these 2 became 3 just so they were bigger. Is it the kind of thing where you could just key in the numbers?
He's going to try to, he's going to try to make them easier to read. And if it can't be done, then export the material into Excel and do it that way, that they are in the back.
I mean, it's playing with what SurveyMonkey, there are limited options for making the charts better.
Okay.
But I have a lot of options in Excel. I have the data, it's just a question of getting it to do what I want it to display how I want it to.
I'll leave it to you.
So,
All right. Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted us to give you an opinion on?
And at this point, I really just need to work on those charts and get.
What was I'm trying to remember the note we had on the charts, and maybe you did that.
Well, I was going to try to bring them into a demographic section, or to bring them into. I mean, they're in like a demographic section at the end, but to like put them into a little bit more of a discussion.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was something having the. Eric. I thought it was this one.
A note from this meeting?
There was a discussion about the income, or not necessarily, what was something about not necessarily,
We were going to
Oh,
condense the age
that's
right.
times.
There was something-
Easthampton.
Yep, I hadn't.
I can't remember what that note was though.
We're going to
What
put
it was,
5-year increments rather than 10-year.
Right, I remember that.
And then there was also one where if you didn't want to say 35 to 40 and 40 to 45, it'd be
Right.
30 to 30, not 35 to 39, 40 to 44.
Right, yeah.
That type of thing, that was another one of those.
Oh, okay, Jim, add note that no one, something about the labor market, do you work in Easthampton?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep,
Yes.
so that was going to be, do you work in Easthampton? Add note that no includes people not in the labor market.
Yes, perfect. And that's perfectly fine.
So I hadn't rejiggered these charts yet.
Okay.
I was just trying to do the newer ones.
No, that's it.
Good, okay. Perfect. Well, do we need to, should we listen to what you guys have, or you want?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to
Yes.
do something new.
I was, if you were ready, if you're ready to tell us, yeah.
Because I definitely need feedback, because I'm not certain how to formulate this, and maybe, Jamie, that's where you come in.
Okay.
We, divided up the pages, 5 each. There was a total of 10 pages of comments, and read through them individually and looked for what came up in comments over and over again, and did check marks.
Try to do a trends or something.
Yeah, then we met last week and saw each other's trends, switched them, and did that on our own pages. So we have a
Good.
an amount of trends for all 10 pages. We did like department stores, things that just kept coming up over and over again. Department stores, traffic congestion, parking, clothing, things like that.
Okay.
So one of the other things that we did was overall the flavor of the comments, and I did a positive, negative, or neutral. And pretty much overwhelmingly, they were all neutral to positive,
Good.
Oh, good.
with a real small minority being negative.
And it is subjective, both the comments are subjective and our analysis is fairly subjective, but at least, as Denise said, we're definitely finding that the majority were neutral. It didn't come out and shout at you in one way or in either direction.
So, so I don't know how to put that. Do we want sentences? Do we want
I would think sentences. Because if you're going to use graphics, you have to have like really specific hard and fact
Right.
rules and numbers. If you've got trends,
Because I would think, or I do think that many of these trends, we already have.
So I guess my thought is where the comments are not giving us anything new that we don't have in the chart. I mean, are there comments? Were there comments that were adding to the survey, either like in a positive or negative or neutral, like things that we didn't think about or cover? Or are they all like
They're all,
supportive of like things that are in the survey? Do you know what I
I
mean?
would say, yes, the majority is supportive of what we've already extrapolated from the survey.
Okay. So then I think maybe we can use those comments to help influence the sections. So like where we have a question about you know, Art Walk. If there was comments that were about Art Walk at the end that were like positive or negative, or, you know, we can write that at the beginning of like, here's what people felt, here's what the data was, or here's what people wrote, and, you know, rather than having like all of the comments at the end.
So take every comment that mentions Art Walk.
Well, I mean, so I guess I'm a little unclear why don't we start with what you found? And if they're supporting the questions that we have data for, then it makes sense to put that in the discussion of
Well,
those.
leave a question on parking in particular.
Yeah, one thing that doesn't come up in our survey was traffic congestion and parking.
Yep.
And that comes up a lot in the comments. I mean, a lot, I'm biased here, but, you know, not much. It just comes up. And that's in the downtown area. So we could figure out something to say about that.
Okay, that's, so that would need to be addressed separately from anything else, because we don't, none of that. So that could be,
And somebody had the great idea of making Cottage Street one way and Maple the other way.
I don't remember seeing that. Well, have we thought about having a comment section? And not where we would include all the comments?
we did, we thought about it, I think we talked about putting it in as appendix, and I think it was too much, it was going to be overwhelming, and that this sort of going through the comments and trying to get something cohesive from it is much more useful for everyone. And again, if we are making it available to everyone, they can look at the comments and...
Yeah, I have an idea. So we could have some of the more pertinent, obviously we're not going to put everyone's comments in here.
Right.
We have some of the more pertinent comments near or after each question that they related to. And then we would also say something in the executive summary about the fact that there were a lot of comments made about parking that we hadn't addressed, or we don't make ourselves sound bad, but that was not, people that went above and beyond the survey and made comments about parking and congestion. And that could be part of the executive summary. But then use the format of the questions themselves for just interspersing.
Unless we're gonna have a detailed analysis of traffic congestion and parking, like there's enough data in there to support something going into the executive summary about that. Like, I think it would just be a section, you know, I don't, either way. But
Okay, maybe not the executive summary, but I think it should be somewhere. It's got to be in there somewhere.
yeah, and so we can have like a piece in there where we talk about what the comments were. That there were some comments that said I have no problem parking. Other people saying there's too much parking, or there's not enough parking, or that it's always trafficy and they don't want to stop because there's not enough on street. Whatever the comments are, it'd be nice to have a paragraph, 3-4 sentences about summarizing what the different comments were.
Well, that's what I was thinking of.
But not necessarily to put that into the executive summary.
Well, it was somewhere at the beginning, because
Yeah.
everything else after that, there's really no place for
Data.
free open text, is there? I don't see it.
Well, so, yeah, but so my thought was with, like, again, I don't specifically know what you guys have found, and if you can give me a category, I can,
I just did traffic congestion.
well,
and
one of the
parking.
ones that we had, it's
Okay, department stores.
Okay, so what
Strong desire for a department store. Target mentioned over and over again.
okay, so that would be,
Department clothing is kind of the same thing, but shoes, that kind of thing.
so, you know, if we wanted to put that in a discussion about national chain stores, you know, where the majority of residents, we have comments that the majority of residents shop frequently at CVS, Rite Aid, National Brand Drugstore. The majority of respondents don't go frequently to chain hardware sporting goods stores. You know, and we can say that in the comments sections, we found that there's a number of people, and we can tell them, you know, we say 7 comments, 10 comments that said yes to,
I think if you're going to start putting in specific numbers, then you're asking for a lot more work.
but they've done it.
Yeah, I didn't mark them. I'll have to go
Well,
back.
yeah, they haven't tabulated how many questions.
Well, I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I have 21 comments, but I don't know specifically if they were asked for Target or asked for just a
Correct.
department store,
Yeah.
asked for...
Yeah, we kind of went, like Graceland, we would like to have clothing and shoe stores in Easthampton. Clothing and shoes before, opting to try clothing and shoes before purchasing. But then we really need a department store.
Yeah.
Or Target would be fabulous too, as an example. Here's one that says a retail store that carries everything from clothing to shoes to bedding and bath and household items, including cookware, small kitchen electrics, is needed here. The is needed here is a catch. So.
Well, I'm thinking again, the comments should be, the comments are the majority of respondents, and they should be here as accents. You should put them in as accents.
Right.
You guys have picked out the important ones and put them in as accents to the questions that they pertain to.
And I guess my thought was that we
Verbatim
wouldn't
or not?
actually, we would not put any of the comments in. We would do a summary of what the comments were as they related to that question. Again, not quoting people directly.
Is that doable? Can you summarize all the comments in terms of how they relate to a
I mean, it
question?
seems like that's what you did.
Well, we did it more as there was a kind of parking check,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and tallied in that manner.
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure that again, if you're going to start putting in hard facts.
Well, not necessarily that we're putting in hard facts.
You could say quite a number or something vague like that.
Okay.
I think it would be good to address the traffic and the parking, obviously, because that wasn't something that was in the survey.
Well, yeah, and I think the traffic and parking should be written somewhere towards the...
We can have it, it will have its own section,
Right,
traffic
okay.
and parking. There was no section devoted to traffic parking. There were a lot of comments that were received
Yeah.
about this, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so for the rest of them, though,
I don't see the negative of putting a couple of real quotes in to accent or highlight
Okay.
a specific
Yeah.
graph.
Then let's
Like the
do that.
department store one.
I mean, that might be the easier way, because,
I think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
if we just say, here's a comment that exemplifies what the graph is showing,
Right. Yeah.
then and if that's what you've, like, that's how you were picturing it, and that's what you've got, then I think that makes the most sense. I'm not trying to suggest that we need to go back and redo it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to sort of take what you guys have already done and at this point figure out the best way to get it in. And if that's here's comments, then let's pick the choice comments for each of the top comment for each section.
Yeah.
Or
Like for this one, the discount, consumers like to see a discount department store, and maybe that a specific comment, the one I just read, a retail store that carries everything,
Yeah.
and go in there.
That'd be perfect. We also want to keep in mind that we want to do what we can do quickly. I mean, because for most, if not all, the comments that I hear about the survey from people not affiliated with this group are,
Where is it?
why does it take so long? It was last spring. Why is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
That's going to be awesome.
I know it's going to be damn awesome, but people are waiting. And
All right, so-
the more work we make for ourselves,
right,
The longer it's gonna
but
be.
it seems like this work's already been done. It's just getting it from
right.
these two people into this box.
So,
Right. So
Right,
let's
so
do it in a
Eric-
way that's easy to do.
so Eric and I have gone through all the comments, and we've figured out that for the most part, they duplicate what information we've already analyzed from the survey itself,
Great.
with the exception of the traffic congestion and the parking.
Right.
Okay.
We can write a paragraph, short paragraph.
About traffic congestion.
Synopsis.
Yep.
About traffic congestion and parking, and we can decide as a group where to put that, I don't care.
Yep.
And then, I don't know if it's important to say that most comments were positive to neutral.
I think that'll be self-evident. I mean, by the comments that you put into for each question.
Okay, so we'll forget about the negative, positive, neutral
Yeah.
overview.
Well,
And then I just need to know what quotes you want pulled from the comments for which categories.
I think you guys picked that.
yeah. But I would say like, so looking at the what I gave you,
Yep.
if we look at like food and beverage, so we have, most response were
I would leave it up to you guys to
regarding
pick what you
in
think. are the best
general,
ones.
residents would like to more diversity in their food and beverages, would like more bakeries, and we're split on that. So if there's a comment in there that sort of reflected that overall idea, or maybe there are 3 comments that, you know, that represent that.
Okay. All right.
But you know, one other thing, going back a little bit to the parking and the traffic congestion, keep in mind, so if we have 540-something respondees, if there were 20 that said something that made comments about parking congestion, keep in mind, yeah, that 20 is enough, it's certainly worth mentioning, but it is only 20 out of 540 or something like that.
Right.
So we don't want to make it, so the piece that you write from
That's
the
why.
beginning,
That's why I was.
we want to make sure that it's said that it's important, but don't, we
We
already
only have a
emphasize that
total of
it's-
168 written.
Right, so
Which is
so
not
it's
even-
a real minority of people felt strongly enough to write about it.
Agreed, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's why-
I'm not belittling it.
That's why I was suggesting that it doesn't go in the executive summary, that it goes in the report as like, here's what we found. We didn't ask a question about it. We don't have any real hard metrics. We only received 25 comments out of 180 that relate to parking.
Yeah.
And of the 25 we received, half were positive and half were negative.
Yeah.
You know, but we would need to do a follow-up survey, or we need to do follow-up work to really determine how these are. But here's a place here's where we can continue.
Yeah.
There's where more data,
Good.
more research.
And it would be very interesting to the city to know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think 30 people is a lot to bring something up. It's related, but it's out of the blue as far as the survey, because we didn't address it.
So there were 30 that said
people
it?
Yeah.
It's 28, 29, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they were all positive, all negative.
Negative.
All
Well, not
ne-
negative,
But
wanted-
there's a
we
need.
need parking.
Need parking, there's too much congestion.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to have, if you can write a paragraph or
Yeah.
2, but not more. I don't think.
Yeah.
Or
So can
a
I-
paragraph or 2, and then a quote that sums it up or something.
So can I write down that you guys will write a paragraph about the parking and congestion?
Yep.
And then we will select comments for the questions?
And then we will select comments for, how many sections are there?
And you know, it doesn't have to be like every single question doesn't have to have a comment.
Right.
And it could be that one question had a couple different comments that are both worthwhile. So I don't think you need to have a hard and fast rule for everything.
All right, let's decide what we need comments for though, because it's a lot to go through all these and decide which ones to.
Okay.
So we'll do one for the food and, for the food service, obviously, right?
So
Food and beverage.
can we go back to what you found? Where did you see like a lot of, besides traffic congestion and parking, what else had a lot of comments?
Art was mentioned a lot, just in general.
Great, because I think we need more
So for art.
stuff, more analysis on the art. So let's definitely do some comments or does that work for?
It's a good idea.
Do you want another paragraph, or just?
No, just pulling a couple of quotes that
Okay.
that relate to art.
Okay, okay. The department store was huge.
Definitely the pull a quote relating to that then.
Yeah.
I started ticking off the city is getting better, but then I stopped because I didn't really know where to go with that.
What do you mean city is getting better? That was
Just
like a
very-
sentence that keeps repeating?
Yes, just like, love living here, it's getting better and better all the time, that kind of thing.
That would
Like the
be,
way it's going.
That could be a nice piece for somewhere up front.
Yeah.
I personally, with 5 pages, did not look at for that.
I
Well,
think
I
that
can
would,
also get that out of ones they marked as positive.
Which is just so negative.
No.
Teasing.
if you wanted to do more and figure out what that was, how many people have sort of felt the city is getting better and is getting, but then the flip side of that is, are there other comments in there that are people going, the city is getting worse, and
Yeah,
There's a few, sure, yeah.
yeah.
No
I mean,
more
I would
art,
assume- I'm sure there's a bunch of people
no
who
more building.
gentrification and we
Yeah.
can't afford to live here anymore
Right.
and all of
Taxes are
these.
too high because of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably let's not.
So, I mean, I think it's really, we have our glasses on to make us want to see that the city is getting better, and without putting a lot more work on you guys to read through those comments again to sort of figure out the overall happiness level of the city
Yeah, you're right.
respondents, which.
Let's do it with what you know, what you have.
But if there was a quote in there that was particularly good about how people are happy with the direction of the city and where it's going, that would be another good quote, I think.
Happy?
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, that could go on our Facebook page or something, on their website or something like that.
We could pull one where they're happy with the direction and one where they're not happy and have them
And just
side by
have
side.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not.
All
They're,
rose colored
yeah.
glasses.
No.
I mean, I think so that would be good, to have the balance.
Well, give me an example. You gave one. Here's a person. Easthampton needs much more than the arts. I like the something like NoHo and lower retail rent so businesses can thrive. I think that's doesn't jive me. I've seen so many shops come and go since I've lived here. I'm from the Cape, and it's a shame. This person was a lower income person, but it's almost anti.
Yeah. If we have to put a negative one in just to get a positive one in,
No, I
I
mean,
say let's not go.
but I mean, we could just balance it. We can.
Constructive though.
Yeah, something that's
Yeah.
So a positive one that says like, we love the direction of the city, blah blah blah. Another one's like you're saying, constructive one or slightly that balances that out, so it doesn't look like we're just only
That's
selecting
kind of
the
what
best.
we're doing as we're putting quotes in, around the question, say we need this, we need
No,
that.
and we're doing ones that are reflective of
City overall.
or reflective of what the analysis is showing.
Right.
I mean, because it's really.
But I'm saying that shows their opinion of the city.
And sometimes, I mean, a question about department stores might not have anything to.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be like, we want
Yeah.
some place where we can go and get underwear and socks and
Yeah.
t-shirts and shoes for everyone from 0 to 75. And, we want a target in the city. It says nothing about whether or not they're happy living
Yeah,
there.
okay.
So I think that surrounding towns know Easthampton this has to do with a parking comment, has cool places to check out but cannot find a place to park. So that's,
Yeah, and so, we might find that from the parking and analysis, it might be that people can't find a place to park because our signage for parking is bad and people don't realize that one street back, there are parking lots that are shared or they can park on the street or whatever. Maybe they, or maybe it's, really we don't have enough parking.
I've never found that to be the case, by the way.
That we don't have enough?
I've never had a hard time parking.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, I
Even when
mean,
there's something really exciting and a festival or something going on, I can always find a place to park.
we've had parking studies done in the past.
Yeah. See, that's why I didn't want to, this is why I...
But it's nice to know. It's nice to know that you have consultants who come in and do a parking study and say, "There's enough space. We have X amount of spots. We have this much capacity most of the time." But it's nice to know what do people feel like there's enough parking. you know, and if not, why is that? Is it because, you know, the consultants are looking and counting?
A few people feel that way.
Right.
Yeah, like about 4%. maybe
Yeah, I mean,
6%.
and so again, this is like that discussion should say that
Yeah.
we don't have these numbers.
We
They're not
have
hard
to close
numbers.
up soon.
All right, so we're doing a paragraph synopsis on parking and congestion.
Yep.
We're pulling comments for the arts,
Mhm.
the department store need, whatever, and the direction of the city. Constructive comments on the direction of the city, which could be both, they're just constructive, whether
Yeah.
they're negative or positive.
Yeah. But so I see there's 2 areas of questions that you're pulling comments for. And it would just be those 2?
Well, add to it.
Arts, department store, and, oh, right.
Yeah, but you're talking about,
Do you want to comment for like a motel or a hotel or anything like that? Were there any good ones about that?
you found hotel. It's interesting, on my page, you found 3 comments
I
on
found
hotel.
3, yeah. I'll see if any of them are any good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think use those 2 to start with, but then if others jump out at you, please feel free to use them. You know what? I think a comment about bakeries, that was strong.
Okay.
And now we're getting 2, hopefully.
Yeah.
Great. So our next meeting will be December 10th.
Yeah.
Maybe you want a food and beverage,
Yeah.
just because it's a
Yeah.
big...
That's not
Or,
what I-
right, and so like really, you know, I think it should be partly dictated by what you found as where the trends are in the comments.
Right.
You want to pull the quotes and I'll write the paragraph, or do you want to write the paragraph and I'll pull the quotes?
You are a better wordsmith than I am. So, I'm going to pull quotes, once again, we'll go back. We're talking about arts, department store, city, direction, bakeries, / food and beverage. Okay, and I'll go for your half.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
All right, what do you have?
The arts,
Mm-hmm,
the need for a department store,
mm-hmm,
constructive comments on the direction of the city,
mm-hmm.
hotel, bakery, food and beverage.
I
Okay,
think a bakery is part of food and beverage.
okay, well, I got
Is that
that.
too much? Do you want me to take a few
No, I
words?
got that print together. So if they're together, that's 5/6.
And then anything else that's particularly noteworthy in the comments, we should just flag to put on the website or Facebook or,
Okay.
Good.
you know, so just sort of like as like a, not related to specifically to this document, but just to,
Ones that we can pull and
Yes.
uses.
yeah, so that way we can continue to, you know, get this momentum keeping
Great.
moving.
And we don't have to use the entire quote, we can write ...
Yeah.
close.
Pull the pieces that are relevant, and only use, I think, the ... if it's like one sentence and then they're something irrelevant and then back to
Right.
the,
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, if they only write 10 words that are, you know, those 10 words are in order and they perfectly
Right.
define what we're looking for, then
No
we don't
F-bombs
need
or
the
anything.
we don't need the ... end quote.
Yeah.
During the 30 years I have lived here, the quality of life has gotten much better for me. Thanks to music at Luthier's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Great.
Easthampton is a
Okay.
lovely city.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be the, whatever was in between and Manhattan and then it's kind of a lovely city. That's where the ...
Should we adjourn?
and move to adjourn.
I second.
All right.
Good night,
So-
Tracy.
This one?